It really is the wild, wild west out there. Shout out to Cool Mo D, because now we have no Mo D.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Michael Southern with Tide Hoops History. That's him. We call him Asian Jimmy sometimes. He put it in his own bio there. Is that a bio? That's just a little, I don't know what that is. Doesn't matter. Thank you, every day, for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here 2 days. And thanks, everybody, for making this your first listen to every day. And it's emergency pod time because y'all know how I feel about Mo Diabate. Y'all know I love him. You know I'm going to miss him. You know I'm going to write him letters. It's like I've been sent to prison and I've got to send him letters telling him how much I miss him and I can't wait to see him again. It's a sad, sad day. I get it. And I started out with saying this is like the Wild, Wild West, and it's true. This is about going out there and making money when you can. And I hate it. I understand it. I want to go on a rant about it a little bit later, but Michael Southern, I gotta know what you think first of all.
So just like you, I was a little surprised by this because I had heard that, Mo had an NIL package offered to him, several days ago. I had heard that he had come to a verbal agreement with the staff or whoever presents it to him officially. So I thought that, Mo was going to come back. And then earlier today, things changed. Started hearing all kinds of rumors and things like popping up that, he never signed the NIL deal. And now there's concern about playing time and things like that. So I didn't want to believe it up until we had to believe it when the announcement came out. I mean, look, I feel the same way. I love Mohamed Diabate. He is the epitome of blue collar basketball. I mean, you're talking about someone who won the Hard Hat Award 13 times this season. I mean, Alabama played 37 games. So there was a 35% chance whenever they played, Mo was going to walk away with the Hard Hat Award because of his hustle. And fans appreciate that. If there's one thing Alabama fans, regardless of the sport, appreciate, it's effort. And you always got that from Mohamed Diabate. So very unfortunate. I was really hoping that he would come back. I was texting with our usual group that we do with and some other friends. I mean, to me, this would have been like, after the 2019 season, if Herb Jones had entered the transfer portal after Avery Johnson left, because Herb was a sophomore. So I know it hurts. I mean, we did a lot of comps this year. If you look at the stats of Muhammad versus Herb, now look, Mo's more of a post-up player. Herb had better, ball skills as far as dribbling. But what you got from those two. You got effort every night. You got defensive effort every night. You got rebounding. The motor never stopped for those two. So this is definitely a blow and a very disappointing one, I know, for the fans and probably the coaching staff, because I think they anticipated having Mo D back next year.
And look, we will get into some of the additions in the next segment. Noah Williamson, Tyler Bowen. We'll get into those, and then that is positive. And I'd rather end it positive than start it positive. But the negative, I mean, this Mo Diabate thing. Again, it was the Mo Diabate Hard Hat Award. It was his hard hat. Other people were just borrowing it.
I agree.
And look, I see some of the comments where folks are like, well, he missed a lot of layups. He missed a lot of dunks. He missed. Yeah, he's not a great shooter. Look, on the surface, if you're just looking at stats, if you don't know about the soul of this team and the soul of this program, you're like, what's the big whoop? I understand. But if you do know about this team, you do know, like when Mo came in, some things were different. And, I know we all loved Grant Nelson's block on Cooper Flag. It was beautiful. It was nice. Great job. Mo D also had one. Mo D was the kind of guy that could guard you from point guard to center and anything in between. And he wasn't scared of a darn thing. And somebody asked, are we getting Eagle staff? No, we're not. He's committed to South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I guess there is one other thing I should say. We don't know if it's out of the realm of possibility that he actually gets out of the portal and comes back. I suppose that's possible. We've seen stuff like that. I would say it's unlikely because it just doesn't seem like a Mo Diabate move. It seems like Mo is the kind of guy who's like, tried to work this out, didn't work out, going to move on, which I respect. Now, before we go to break, and then we're going to talk some positivity. Mo Diabate is a loss. I don't care what anybody says. Can we replace him? Of course. Can we replace his statistics? Of course. It's the oomph, it's the zhuzh, it's the je ne sais quoi that we don't know that we can replace. Now, let me also say this. I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast the other day. I've talked about it on the radio. I've talked about it on other shows. Let me give you all the interesting story of Meechie Johnson. Meechie Johnson started at Ohio State, played there for 2 years. Then he transferred to South Carolina. He played there for 2 years. Now he transferred to Ohio State last year. Played there last year. Now he's transferred back to South Carolina. Now, I'm a man of two opinions, several opinions actually here. I don't like that at all. Somebody out there may see nothing wrong with it. I look at it like the same way if Michael Southern had 2 toxic girlfriends, he was in 2 toxic relationships, and he kept bouncing back and forth between them, thinking he can change one of them eventually, or one of them will work out eventually. I would have to say, hey, we either need to settle on one and try and work on her, or we need to move on to something different, and maybe it's you. That's my first take. My second take is I totally get the people out there who are saying, you know what? Let Meechie Johnson go get his bag where he even wants to get his bag. Who are you to get in his bag? I get that. I'm just saying I don't like this. I can't put my finger on an actual, like, this is why I hate it. I hate it because I love college basketball. And this is getting weird when Mo Diabate, who should never, ever have to buy a slab of ribs at Dreamland in his life again, has left the University of Alabama. That seems weird to me.
No, well, look, and the real reality, and you've already said it, is most of the times when someone enters the portal, they're not coming back. It's a very small percentage or chance that they will come back. Now, like the example you just gave, doesn't mean he may not come back his senior year. You never know. That's always possible. I know there's all the chatter going on about Rylan Griffin. I don't know if that's reality or not, but you never know. The mechanisms that are in place now with the transfer portal, NIL, even if you have the judge's ruling, what I believe on Monday, with the revenue sharing and things like that, look, the genie's already escaped. It's player empowerment. They control the power. They can go where they want. Now, again, good for the players. I know it's frustrating for the fans. It's just the new reality that we live in. It's hard to generate identity or loyalties or to know your team because every year you're destroying half your roster. And in some cases, like look at UAB, they lost all their starting 8. So you truly have a brand new roster the next year. And that's hard for fans to connect to. I think, again, one of the things that makes Mark Sears so endearing is, yes, he transferred in, but he transferred one time. And what do? He played 3 straight years. So you can build up a relationship, or you can understand or know the players based on that. Look, Mo was with us for 2 years. I was looking forward to a 3rd year, hopefully a 4th year. I wish him nothing but the best. He's a great player. He's got a high motor. Look, we know the systems that would fit him. We were already saying that, Johns, Houston, those places would be ideal for Mo to land because he would fit in seamlessly in those styles, those defensive-oriented styles. What I don't want, what would really hurt more, and look, Auburn fans went through this, or they had this with Aiden Holloway, but if he goes to another SEC team, that's just going to be hard to digest. Playing against Mo, if he's playing for Tennessee or Ole Miss or heaven forbid Auburn, something like that, that would just be very difficult because of the way the fans embraced him over the last 2 years, just because of the effort. So that's going to be hard. That is a gut shot to a lot of the fans who really appreciated everything that Mo gave to him, and that's going to be hard to think about him giving that effort to another team and it not be Alabama. You gave a great example. It is a relationship. And again, you're saying someone that you cared about, that always was there, seemed to be there for you, was willing to do whatever needed to be done. And now they're going to take that someplace else. And who knows, the way everything works, there's a good chance Alabama's going to play against him, whether it be next year or in 2 years. There's always that good possibility. And that's a difficult thing to accept and to understand in this age of, I guess, transfer portal and NIL. That's not what you and I grew up on. We were used to seeing players develop. Look, Derek McKee took 3 years to become SEC Player of the Year. Herb Jones took 4 years to become SEC Player of the Year and SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and they did it all at Alabama. You're not going to have that anymore. A player gets frustrated after 1 year, he's going to go to someplace else. He doesn't like that, he's going to someplace else. I mean, players are staying in school longer, which is what we wanted. They're just not staying at the same school for any extended period.
I keep having this vision in my head. I'm like Chris Kattan playing Mango on Saturday Night Live, and Mo Diabate is walking away, and I'm just going like this. I don't know how many people even get that reference. Mango was a long time ago, but all right. I want to say this again. My buddy Justin Clayton, a resident Aub, has chimed in. Come on, Michael. Mo would be great at Auburn. That's the problem. He would be great at Auburn.
He would be. I'm not saying.
That's the problem.
Look, Bruce Pearl and his teams play great defense. What does Mo do? He plays great defense. So I'm not saying that Mo would not fit at Auburn. Look, there are several SEC teams that he would fit in. I'm just saying that it will be a bitter pill for us to swallow if we have to play against him in an SEC schedule and seeing him give the effort to another SEC school. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say this too. Somebody brought up this potential destination. I have no idea if it's where he's landing or whatever. They said St. John's. I was like, oh, that makes all kind of sense.
It's ideal. It's perfect. It's geographically close to his home anyways. And what Rick Pitino plays. Mohamed Diabate would fit in seamlessly in that system for Rick Pitino. And he'd be close to home. And you know what? In that circumstance, the Alabama Nation would still pull for him because they wouldn't be playing against him in the regular season in the SEC schedule.
Well, the only thing I'd say is he'd have to play all night games because we all know Rick Pitino is a vampire. You know what? Mo Diabate never needed 5-hour energy, but you might. Daylight savings has snuck up on us again. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep 5-hour energy has your back, the extra sunshine means more time for fun, less time for Rick Pitino. But sometimes you need a little boost to power through. I don't know why that gets me every time. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in around to golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. Oddly, I've just talked about mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. You know this. You've seen them everywhere. Go to 5hourenergy.com. You'll absolutely love it. Now, I'm going to tell you about something. God, what is it? FanDuel. Yeah. How did I forget that? FanDuel's awesome. You know how much I love FanDuel. The NCAA tournament is here. It's been here for a few weeks, if you hadn't noticed. And FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. There are no more Cinderella stories, by the way, and that's my kind of Final Four. Look, the FanDuel app is simple to use. And when I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. We got one more week end of it. So our long national nightmare of Auburn being in the Final Four is almost over. Okay, so let's talk about some positive news. Let's go back a little bit. Noah Williamson from the Bucknell Bison, he was their player of the year in that conference. 7-footer. Can shoot the three, not the fleetest of foot, but he's coordinated enough. And the only way I can put this, I look at Cliff Amore, and I think now that we look back, I'm going to say Cliff Amore disappointed relative to what we thought he would be. Not that he's disappointing, but relative to the impact I thought he'd have. I thought he'd be a little bit more of a rim protector. He dunks everything within a 6-foot radius, which I appreciate. Now, he missed some in this last game against Duke, but so be it. I'm thinking this guy may not be as intimidating. Probably won't have as many, oh, my God, he just dunked it on his whole family's head moments. But he will just have some regular old 7-footer dunks, and he can shoot a three, which opens up some of the offense.
So I was looking at some of his films. So you know what you're going to get with him from Bucknell? He's a space eater. what thing you can say about Cliff is he's not a space eater. He's thin, kind of a thin build. He's very athletic, but he is going to be a space eater that can hopefully kind of move bodies out of the way. I'm thinking that maybe from a rebounding standpoint might be a little bit better. You're right. He's not the most athletic or agile person out there, but he's just a big body. That's something Alabama basketball hasn't had in a while anyways. We'll see how much of a rim protector he can be. The fact that he can, on occasion, pull the other person's 5 out there if he's trying to shoot 3, that actually will help open things up. I'm very curious to see how he does on the defensive end, though. I'm curious to see how Alabama plays defensively with him down there in the low post, I guess, as the rim protector. But again, he's a big body. Alabama hasn't had that. Again, the one knock on Alabama over the last couple of years is just we're kind of thin. Even though we're older players and experienced, we're not the biggest builds we have are on the guards. Mark Sears and Chris Youngblood. They're the only physical ones that we had, and that was on the guard side. We just have lacked a big physical presence down low. I think Noah Williamson, I think that he'll give you some of that. Again, he's not like overly huge, but he's bigger than anything that we've had in the last 2 years.
Justin Clayton chimes in. Does Youngblood have any more eligibility? He does not.
He does not.
I wish he did. Let me say this too. Let me say this, that, okay, who now is the enforcer, like bouncer for the team? I think every team needs a dude that you're like, look, all these guys are athletes. They could probably all hold their own in a fist fight or a stare down moment, in a physical altercation. But everybody needs that dude that you're like, okay, you mess with me too much, now I'm going to go call Mo D, or I'm going to call Chris Youngblood. Youngblood, my understanding was Youngblood was the one dude nobody wanted to mess with.
I agree.
Now, he's not a guy that is going to get in your face and jaw. He's not going to try and antagonize you openly. Now, he may do it a little more in a clandestine fashion, but he's not going to openly do it. He's not going to talk trash or whatever. But my understanding is nobody wanted to mess with him. All right. So if he's gone and Mo D's gone, who's the next guy I'd say don't want to screw with him? Again, I go back to Cliff Amore. By the looks of it, that's who you'd say. I don't want any of Cliff Amore. But my bet is you would least like to fight Chris Youngblood and probably second Mo Diabate. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think if you put everybody in the octagon, you're probably right about that. If you want to go that way and go UFC and go in that way, surprisingly, I think, and again, just as limited film and stuff that you look at with the announcement of Bowen coming, he is athletic. Now he's thin too, but he's 6'9", 6'10", but I think he's more of a stealth shot blocker. So you might see him come out of nowhere and block shots. So you'll have the big body down low, and then you'll have the stealth block shot blocking ability from Bowen. But you're right. Who will be the enforcer next year? I can't put my finger on anybody right off the top of my head based on who you're losing. Now who's in the transfer portal. Of course, you still don't know who's going to come. So look, the coaching staff is not done yet. All right. So let's see who they still pluck out of there. You never know. I mean, there might be not a miracle, but they might pluck a 6'6", 6'7", 2-3 guard position out of there. And that's your guy, but we just don't know yet. So, and we're not going to know probably this roster is still not going to be settled for weeks. So this uncertainty and agonizing over, did someone commit? Did they enter the portal? This is going to go on for a while. So we just
don't
get
fall
used to
in
it.
love with anybody on the roster yet. That's goes
exactly right.
For every college, every program, everywhere. And, that is just the new way it is. And I'm going to tell you something. I think as much as I hate to lose Mo Diabate, number one, I just looked up his stats. Tyler Bowen's stats are actually a hair better, or at least equal to Mo Diabate's. The difference would be, is like I said, I know Mo D's got soul. I know he gets after it. I know he's got passion. I know he's not scared of a thing. I don't know much about Tyler Bowen. I hope he isn't. I mean, I've seen the highlights like everybody else, but a lot of the highlights I saw were against North Florida. So what? I mean, I don't know. That in front of nobody. I mean, he never had to even play in a big game that I know about at Florida State. Mo D was playing in the SEC and playing the toughest schedule in KenPom history. So I know what he brings to the table. But I forgot what I was going to say, Michael. I'm sorry.
I don't know, but I'm curious. I'm going to do like you. I'm going to do some research tonight. I want to see what Bowen did against Duke and some other teams in the ACC. Not that the ACC was any powerhouse this year, but let's see what he did. Let's see what he did against Duke, maybe Clemson, something like that. I mean, at least from the height factor and size factor, if you take Williamson, Bowen, and then of course, hopefully Aiden Sherrill stays, you're talking at 7 foot, 6'10", 6'11", and 6'10". That's a pretty formidable size front court. And again, you talked about the roster. Look, there's still hope now from the coaching staff that they can keep Darian Reed. Honestly, I thought for most of the last 2 months, I thought for sure it was 99% chance Darian Reed was gone, and more than likely he might end up at Georgia. But now there's a lot of chatter going. It may be almost 50-50 now, which I never thought would happen. So we'll see. Maybe the fact that he couldn't play much and the injuries, I don't know. I'm very curious to see about Darian Reed. We don't know what's going to happen with Jaron Stevenson. I know he was the punching bag for a lot of people. You still hear that, the kid's got a world of potential. I know at some point you have to deliver on that, but, Jaron Stevenson, you don't know what's going to happen with him. You don't know what's going to happen with Darian Reed. So LeBaron Philon, again, is he gonna be a first round draft projection? Again, we all expect him to enter the NBA draft while keeping his college eligibility, and then see what happens. Imagine if you get LeBaron Philon back. That would be.
That changes a lot.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Oh boy, I was going to say I'd rather have Philon back than Mo D, and I don't know. I just don't know. That's a tough one. Tough call. I might rather have Philon back just because maybe Philon can be my Mo D. Now, a couple other things out there just really quickly. Brett Fulmer says Corey Chesttime from LSU. I mean, look, I would love to get him. I think he could be sort of your enforcer. The Outlaw of College Football says North Carolina is a blue blood and they're tired of Alabama, the football school, beating them, so they're raiding our roster. I mean, I hadn't heard anything about Mo D in North Carolina.
I haven't heard that either. I mean, again, maybe, but I don't know. We'll see. So.
Then Wade says Luke, Mo is 6'7". He said Luke is 6'7". He could hold down the power forward position. I'm 6'5" and I'm 52. I can barely hold down a steady job. So no. Outlaw of College Football says, so you only read the Auburn fans' comments to this Alabama channel. Ain't that backwards? I'm out later. Well, I'm sorry you missed. I just read your comment. So,
you were joking about your age and saying that you're too old to be the enforcer. You know who's there in Tuscaloosa who could still be the enforcer even at his age? Erwin Dudley. He still looks like he could come out as a grad assistant.
Oh, he does.
Right now, Erwin Dudley, even at his age,
he should be called Corey Chest. Have you seen his chest?
Yeah, he could come out and drop right now. I bet you he could come out and drop probably 18 and 12 right now. So Erwin Dudley looks like he'd play tomorrow.
For Erwin Dudley on this team.
Oh, absolutely. Erwin Dudley would be ideal for what you need right now. You just haven't had a strong physical postman down there that no one wants to mess with and doesn't mind just, banging with people. So you're right.
All right. That's going to do it for this emergency podcast. This Mo D leaving us. It hurts. It hurts. I mean, I'm going to tell you all the truth. I don't even want to tell the story because I'm afraid to embarrass him. But I had a relative who's a relative of mine that said he had his first crush reject him recently. And I had to talk to this relative. And I just told him, look, it happens. And I was like, I understand, a little heartbroken, but everybody gets over it, and you're in ninth grade, you get over it and we move on. And, but that's how I feel. Like my crush rejected me.
Well, you know what? It again, in 2 months from now, I'm very curious to see what this roster looks like. It'll be just like last year. It'll be very interesting. So.
Yep. It's going to be fun, and we're going to have another good schedule. And I'll tell you something. I keep thinking this in my head because we were supposed to do it last year. It's not going to shock me if we play St. John's next year and if Mo D's on that team. And Alabama, St. John's, we were supposed to do it in Madison Square Garden, I think, last year. Lord have mercy, if we do that, I'm there.
That would be a great, hopefully it'd be a Saturday night and you can go up to New York on a Friday, go to MSG, and then come back on a Sunday. That would be ideal. That would be a lot of fun.
Josh Miller says, I miss the days of Dudley and Jamario Davidson. And you know what's funny? I think Mo D is like a poor man's Erwin Dudley. And I think Jaron Stevenson reminds me of Jamario Davidson in the sense that Jamario had all this potential and every now and again he'd be awesome. And then he'd do something so breathtakingly backwards. You go, what was that? And you're like, how does he even play D1 football? I mean, basketball. And I think Jaron Stevenson is the same way. Like he is, when you look him out there, you're like, at times he looks like he could be the best player on the court at small times. But there are other times where you're like, I don't understand what is happening with this man. But if anybody can ever tap into that Jaron Stevenson potential, look out.
Again, let's see if he's still on the roster in 2 months. It'll be interesting. Be very interesting.
All right. Michael, thanks for joining us for this emergency podcast. And I need a warning whistle or something for when we do emergency podcasts or something. But appreciate you, brother. And all right, everybody, we'll talk to you again soon. And thanks for everybody joining us. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.